Hello, I'm Becky from Becky and Davy's Independent Co-Consultants for Scentsy, and today I'm going to be making some thank you samples. Like this one I tried to do a cinnamon roll. Right, this is how I started. Now I have about 25 of these molds in Christmas and fall and winter and seasonal. And then I like these ones here, so I'll use these, and some of these get quite tedious. And then I have my little hearts for when I get too much wax, and I'll pour it in there for some of the things that I look for. I make sure, number one, that I only use what's in season, what's in the current catalog. I used to do this one, Scary Good, with walnut rum raisin, which was so good for me. It was nostalgic childhood because it smelled like trick-or-treating when you could smell the burning pumpkins, which may not appeal to everyone. But Scary Good with walnut rum raisin was a good mix, but we don't have that in our catalog this year. I have mixed it with pumpkin chai, which is equally really good, which we do have in our catalog this year. So that's the scents I'll be using for that. The other thing I look for besides what's current is which scents play together. Obviously you don't want to use a mint with maybe a cinnamon. It may not come off right. So Hug in a Mug, it's got a little bit of a nut in it, so I know this is going to go well with sugar cookies. So I'm going to put the nut down here for the pecan and sugar cookie on top, because I know these scents will play well together. And the other thing I look for like doing something like this, doing a variety of leaves, is scents that play well together but also look good together. With around the campfire, it's going to turn gray. I try and get them so they don't all look like a icky gray. There's one I did that was a moss green, but it smelled so wonderful you kind of overlook that. But I will use the felts with the new releases because I've not experimented with them and I don't know what mixes well together. So these are just ones that I've used that are tried and true mixes together for thank you scent. Pyrex and a double melter, and some I haven't quite decided yet. I love this combination of blueberry cheesecake and graham cracker crunch. I've also done graham cracker crunch with apple cherry strudel, but the apple cherry strudel is quite weak and dies out fairly quickly. But I did find that these two work well together, and apple cherry strudel. But the colors, they're different, kind of similar but different. So I will experiment as I go along, and I will begin. The house is really smelling like fall now. Really like it. And I think I've warmed up, I might have done 3 cubes, and this is too generous, so I'm going to have some leftovers. So I don't know if I'm going to go in a heart or of a bundt cake, which I might do. Now the pecan is a Hug in a Mug, and this one is sugar cookie. Pecan. Some people pronounce it pecan. Okay, this is going to be the last of the pecan, or as you might know it by pecan, cookies. And there we go. Oh, that's a little extra flavoring there. This smells so amazing. House smells like fall. These pine cones take a lot of wax, and the one I'm pouring right now is toasted acorn and oak. And actually, might not take as much as I thought. That'll be good. And then I'm going to put in some cedar cider at the base. These are some of my favorite scents, so the house smells so good. This is the last of the cedar cider. And then I'll let these pine cones sit. Now these next two are really persnickety because they're tedious. So one of them I'm going to do is I'm going to do a cinnamon roll in this one. I'm going to use vanilla cinnamon maple in the center and do a toffee caramel cupcake around this edge, and I'll keep doing that over and over until I build it up so the center will all be the vanilla cinnamon maple. And then I'll take the vanilla buttercream and do a drizzle over that. The other one I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one here with blueberry cheesecake up to here, and then graham cracker crunch the rest of the way. But because it is blueberry and blueberry cheesecake is that color, I'm going to incorporate just a little bit of the fairy tale pumpkin for color. Not enough to scent, but just enough to add a drop of color here to give it that blue for blueberry scented color. And how they look when you reveal them is different than when you're pouring the wax. Because you can't see the inside of the wax so much, just the outside. This wax is warmed just a little bit, but I'm only going to be using small bits at a time. And so I just need it to do the center, like so. And I've got the next scent, the salted caramel toffee going. One cools, I can add some in this one. As that cools, I'll come back to this. Now for some salted caramel toffee. And this one here, the color looks the same, but they're going to dry different. And this I'm going to just be building up the walls. And I do want to cover the center at some point too. But for now I'm just trying to get the walls started. My daughter and I first started doing this. I am an artist, so when I'm venturing outside the studio, it's like, how can I release my artistic energy? And that's how I started doing these. But again, it's very important that when you're doing samples for your customers to just use current scents. You really don't want them to fall in love with a scent that they can't get, that's no longer available. Which there are some great scent combinations I got with discontinued scents, and I warmed them in my home, but I wouldn't give those away. Now it becomes slow and pokey. Now I'm back to the vanilla cinnamon maple, and I just want to get a center pile going. Now for some more salted caramel to go around the edge. Just checked my blueberry is not warmed up enough. Get this going to try and melt the inside. And I'm just going to go around this now. And I'm just going to keep doing that until we're all the way to the top. My impatient side saying, pour this. I'm going to do some unmolding because I want to use these molds on some other scents. Aren't these gorgeous? This is Bright Cider Life, Harvest Blessing, and Caramel Apple Craze. We'll give this a crack and see what our leaves look like. Oh, those are adorable. They come out so easy. Yeah, you can see how that stained. Don't really seem to stain a lot more than that. But these are just so stinking cute, and they smell really good together. I've got a few to send out to customers who've supported Davies in my business. Now this pine cone, last time I did this is really tough to get out, so we'll see how this goes. And these really sunk in a lot. I don't know if you can see how much that sunk in there. Really divot. And I had used up what I had out, so I really didn't want to pull another one. Toasted acorn and oak and cedar cider on the bottom. Those are cute. Oh, that smells so good. That's a good combination. Little pine cut. They're a little bigger than what I would have liked for a sample because they take so much wax, but gosh, I'd love to get something like that. Toasted acorn and oak and cedar cider on the bottom. And when they melt together, they really play well together. And this one's the one that stained blue when I tried a sample, and I poured in some pretty white wax and it did not pick up the stain, so I was glad for that. And then what's probably my favorite are these guys. The pecan cookies. Oh gosh, look at how cute that is. Those turned out really good. Oh, and they smell good too. They come out really easily. Now these ones are the persnickety ones, and we'll see how they turned out. This one is a cinnamon bun. It's this center goes all the way through the inside. And then the blueberry cheesecake with graham cracker crunch. Just adding a little bit of the fairy tale pumpkin gave it just a little blue, and the graham cracker crunch on the bottom. Smells really good. Now let's go get the glaze and we'll glaze these guys. But it'll dry. You can already see this one here drying. It's already got the white appearance on it. Not quite poured over as much as I wanted, but I might go on some of the outsides here to get a dribble. I'll get this to look a little more like it's going across there. Let's see this one here. I wish I could get it a little thinner. There we go. So there we go. We got our cinnamon bun and our cheesecake. These are my favorite to look. There we go. Some Scentsy thank you samples made with current Scentsy scents.